bam, bam. What up, YouTube? How's it going? All right, so 42.21 right here. Let's take a look at premiums right now. We have got 36% IV at the moment, with about $15 to $18 premiums at the money. So premiums are of course jacked. Obviously expected on an FOMC event right now, and had to refresh my book map to get the data feed up. But here we go. Got this going. Don't need that. Don't need that. All right, here we go. So in terms of bookmap, we got liquidity at 42.25 stacked to 42.50 and on down into 41.75. Pretty balanced book overall. Pretty light, obviously. Not all that much going on in terms of major level 6, 7, 800 point orders. It's all in the 100 to 200 mark. CVD is red, coming on down to 14.21. Bonds are coming off down to the 83.36 realm before a green move up to 84.11. VIX is 17.84. Throughout the market, it's about balanced. Half the X's are red, half the X's are green, and we don't really have any major outliers on the X's. The most green sector we have is 0.41% green. The most red we've got is 0.26% red. So not all that much of an outlier day so far into FOMC in terms of the X sectors in the whole. Short-dated VIX products are green 12%. Long-dated VIX products are down anywhere between 4% and 6%, with the index itself, oh man, being down 1.6%. So let's see how they move this thing. How's everybody doing? Kept refreshing the channel, hoping you'd be on live yesterday. Nope, not yesterday. Yesterday being Tuesday. That's for our dedicated members. So, yeah, obviously FOMC, and then of course Apple tomorrow. Next week we've got virtually nothing in terms of news catalyst, I'll say. So we're going to go from a whole bunch of volatility to very little volatility, with the exception of what they talked about today on the bond channel. They are not the bond channel, the bond news that came out right there at 8:30 about the restructuring. They said they're going to be ramping up selling in the bonds into next week. So that's pretty much going to be the main highlight next week, after, of course, the onslaught this week. 42.30 coming up here. We have VIX down. Kids are off of school today, day after Halloween, so you may hear a little chatter in the background. One of the kids not off of school these days. It's crazy. YouTube link? I'll get it for you. The YouTube link is public right now, so you should be able to get it. But I will go get it for you. There you go. All right. 42.18 red coming on down. They're going to sell bonds and market rally on this news. I suppose it's possible. It all depends, because they're not necessarily when I'm looking for stuff like that, I'm looking for more rotation there, and obviously that wouldn't be derived on that. That would be a lot more just dropping liquidity, which would be not necessarily good for the markets. So FOMC's at 9 today. Yeah, FOMC's at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Unless they change things in the last couple minutes. Trading tick showing any structure change going into the last half of the week. As of about 15 minutes ago, no. But let me hit refresh and see if they adjusted anything just now. As of today's exposure is balanced around the 418 area, which was about the same as yesterday at close. Now we do have some pull down to 416 and even down 413 with nothing above. So it's pretty much all in the 418, 419 area. Going into Friday, it's still substantially bearish going into Friday. So yeah, maintaining the thesis, baby. There's so very little negative deltas on Friday that it's almost hard to believe we'll have anything but down after today. So we'll see. Not to mention, of course we have the textbook bear flag on the daily chart today on NASDAQ and S&P. In fact, it's more aggressive on the NASDAQ than it is on the S&P. They're going to fake up with the keeping up rates, raking everyone's premium, dumping at the end of the week. Yeah, that's my thesis. That's definitely my thesis here. We've been toying with this lower 4,200 range for since Monday. Even last Thursday, we keep on popping into 4,200s and rejecting and hanging around with it. So right on back to it. Right now, we've got Microsoft is up 1%, Apple's down, which seems to be the main theme of the week, is that everything else is green except for Apple. Apple comes down red. Amazon is up green as well, big red or big green, the big red. Nvidia, big blast off to 4112 after a brief dip below 400. So if we get above 418, 419, based on the GEX, would we potentially rally as market makers would have to buy the underlying? Well, it depends on how they move this stuff. Now, above 418 overall, we're in a bit of a positive GEX environment, which is what I would expect going into the likes of FOMC, because they're going to have positioning for balance, and that's what we're looking for. And then once that event is over, you'll have the repositioning, and the market will start. The algorithms will kick on, and we'll start to move in the direction and adjust the position accordingly. So right now, there's virtually no exposure above 418 or 419 right now, and we're in negative GEX with that area. So with that, we're maintaining volatility until we breach under 418, and then we'll start to target 416. Above that, there's a bit of a cap at 420. And 420, they started stacking on heavily on yesterday's exposure. They did not put it on today, although there is still a little bit there, but they didn't stack it on there like they did yesterday. Overall, is that 419 is going to be the main target to the upside today. Above that, we don't know. We'll have to see how they deal with that. In terms of VPA, obviously we're at the upper end of this channel right now into the 4230 realm. We do have a pivot coming up that's pretty substantial. We've got 4210 on the downside, and NASDAQ has 14,550, 14,525 on the downside here as well, with 14,487. 14.6 and 14.625 are the main levels. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, TRTX is getting smoked. They reported yesterday, and they reported a 400% miss on their earnings. So that just goes to show you that REITs is one of the few ones that I would look to completely get out of ASAP. Other than the big tech stocks, obviously, that we're holding. All REITs across the board are getting destroyed just due to the fact that the commercial real estate space is getting hosed left and right. Do I ever use session volume profiles? I do occasionally, yes. When I want to find a particular scenario amongst a short dated time frame, I will drop on the session volume, yes. Not to mention, I have the session range volume profile on the book map at all times. My Lux Algo settings is the 500 look back. So I use a lock 500 look back. Did I sell my TRTX? I did not yet. No. I'm still above my my cost average, but I will be soon. In fact, every REIT I have is going to be closed out. That's going to be one of the first closeouts I do, because I think the real estate market is about to get absolutely smoked. We're already starting to see a lot of stuff come to fruition, especially in like the auto market. Is, obviously my my brother-in-law is car salesman, and he says this is the worst he's ever seen it, and it went from the best he's ever seen it. It went to the point where he could just show up to work and sell 2 cars a day last year, and now everyone is looking for. They're already applying to other careers. It's that bad. It's gotten that bad. Repos are at nearing all-time highs. Repossessions. People are being rejected for qualification left and right. 12% interest rates on $37,000 SUVs, $40,000 SUVs. So it's not looking good. So now is not a good time to buy a house. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Not only do we have incredibly inflated home prices, but we also have extraordinarily high interest rates. Can we use Bookmap to sell spreads? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Good morning. Could you shortly explain GEX? What is it, how to use it, and a resource I can learn about it? Sure, Diego. So GEX is the gamma exposure, and it's what I use to track the positioning in the market from the lens of the dealers, so I can anticipate their hedging requirements, which is really all we do anyway to figure out where the market is going to move. So, I've got a great YouTube video on it. I would encourage you to take a look. I try to keep my videos less than 10 minutes if I can help it. Less than 10-minute video. I personally use Tradietics to track that data. You could also, there's a bunch of other resources out there you can use, SpotGam and all that, but I use Tradietics. Took a month off. I'm back. What's up, Alex? Missed a whole bunch of selling. You're welcome. On Tradietics, where do you track that? If you look in the dashboard to the left and go on to Options Dashboard, and then you put whatever name you want, SPY, whichever else, and you can just track all the different data points in there. Mariah is defrosting. No. Negative. All right. So the main level right now is 42.10. They've doubled that down. We have 42.30 up top after a decent amount of movement throughout the pre-market. We dropped 30 points and went higher. What, 35 points? 40 points? We went from 41.90 to 42.25, so 35 points. All right, 37% IV. So we do have a jacked IV today. Jacked. $18 at the money. How many screens do I have? I have 3 different monitors. I've got the Samsung G9 49-incher and 2 LG 34-inches. Aside from XLF, what's the best ticker to track the banks? Well, I mean, that is the best one in my opinion. Obviously, I've got a watch list that tracks Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, and I usually do a good representation of those when I'm tracking through those. That's the best one. KRE is great for the regional banks. That's the smaller banks. So if you want to track the health of the smaller banks, which in my opinion, those will start to fail before the big dogs, obviously. So yeah, KRE will be another one. Do I think DXY squeezing could be a telling of what's to come? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sold on this green. Right now, we have a textbook bear flag on the daily with decreasing volume. So from a VPA standpoint, decelerated trends. The buyers hit, volume immediately dropped back off pretty aggressively to one of the lower volume candles we've had in a long time on this move up. And the sellers are hitting everything that they throw at them. It's just the buyers are beating them out at the moment. So, yeah. I still have the background. I did that again. What background music? No, I don't have background music on. Yeah, I posted the picture of the bear flag. Yeah. If it wasn't for FOMC, I would be adding more to the PDS for Friday based on the chart setup, just because it's such a strong VPA setup. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with FOMC. You thinking of grabbing a Friday short today with the heavy bearish? It depends on what happens after FOMC. Yeah, I guess I answered your question before I read that. Dumbbell versus barbell bench press. I love them both. I do them both a lot. They both have their place. I like dumbbell for range of motion. You can get a much deeper range of motion, a lot more stretch. And I like barbell because girls love the bench, baby. No, I'm just kidding. 0.5 basis points raise. Ooh, destruction. Yeah. All right, we do have data here now at the 45 mark, and then of course in 15 more minutes we have at the top of the hour. You better say you're kidding. Yeah. Dumbbells are better than barbells. I mean, for growth, yeah, as long as you're maintaining, heavy, the heavy weight and intensity, absolutely. A little bit harder on the shoulders, but yeah. The GEX, VPA, DXY bear flag, I'll say downside. Yeah. Yeah. All right, 42.20. $42.19, $42.20 right here. Man, Elon Musk dropped a lot of bombs yesterday on that Joe Rogan podcast. Apple's going red. Yeah, Apple's popped up to 171. They've got some red. VIX is rolling off pretty hard though. So in a big surprise, they are killing the VIX into FOMC all the way off. They're not maintaining. So VIX is down like 20% in 3-4 days. Meanwhile, the S&P is still overall negative for when the VIX started to roll over. So it's interesting. It's a lot of weird behavior in the price action here going into FOMC, especially with an anticipated pause. I missed it. What did he say? He basically said like George Soros is out to destroy humanity, and he called out a lot of the crap that was going on with Twitter before. He's saying that the art industry is nothing but a tax laundering or a tax shelter, which is all correct. Yeah, I mean the only reason people buy art at $50 million is because they want to shelter income. Yeah, the death cult. He showed like all of Hunter Biden's art that was selling for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. He's going to get Epstein if you don't watch himself. Top wick 42.22. Pop above, pop lower. Any plays? I've just the PDS for Friday. Yeah, which is posted down on that trades channel. Saw Joe Rogan shoot a bow. Dude looks weird standing up. Yeah, he's got a bit of a distended stomach, probably because of the HGH. But what does it mean when the VIX is dropping but the market isn't following? Well, that's what I've been trying to make a lot of heads and tails of it, because they've absolutely rolled the volatility off into this event, and they're still plunging the VIX now, which comes as a bit of a surprise to me. Probably just undoing a lot of what's, in my guess, they're undoing a lot of the hedging that was required to go up into the event, and now they're going to pretty much bring this market back to neutral into FOMC. That's why they're popping this thing up. That's the only thing I can think of here, is that they are going to kill all, now that they've killed all the calls into FOMC, now they're going to kill all the puts into FOMC and bring this thing right back to flat. And then make a move. Now, this is a lot of trend, a lot of strength going into an event like this, which is very weird. It's not very often we see such strong price action one way or the other into an event like this. Now, this is 3 days of some pretty strong trend up buying into. Now, obviously, the sellers are doing their job. The sellers continue to hit this thing hard, which is why we're in a ascending wedge and not an upwards channel. So let's see what's going on right here. We got, let's see, the VIX is down 3.75. Bonds are up 1.17 after getting destroyed. So bonds and equities are going up there as well. Yields are coming off hard after a big old gap up on the yields. Asian markets are flat. Euro market's up 0.8. 42.27. So right here. Yeah, I said the same thing, Ivan. I was looking for bullishness into Thursday, and then Thursday, Friday, big sell-offs. That was a thesis for the week with the deltas we saw last Friday. Do you like calls this morning? I mean, obviously, yeah. This thing's pretty green. A lot of 3 puts for Friday anyway. Let's see how this goes. There you go. Some days I don't play it, just hanging there and listen to me. There you go. So yeah, it's about a 40-point pop-up from that hawkish bond news. Well, a lot of 3 puts for Friday anyway. Let's see what goes. Alrighty. What I am going to do today, no matter what I do with the PDS, I am going to cover the shorts today because they're pretty much completely degraded, so they offer no more protection right now. So those are going to be closed out shortly. Yeah, they're still drilling the VIX. Good morning. Hope you had a great day. I'm sitting on the sidelines. I already made a nice trade. Well done. 42.27. What's up, John? How you doing? Am I waiting till FOMC to make a trade? Not necessarily. No. I'm just going to wait for the first half hour to click out, get through the data that's posting here in 8 minutes. You ready to hear the same speech we've heard for a year? Yeah. Yeah. Literally the same exact thing. Higher for longer. That's it. Same exact speech. No point in even listening to it unless you're just curious of what he's going to say in terms of investing. All right, let's hit refresh on this stuff. 42.30, 42.40, 42.10. Those are the main liquidity levels here. What do you consider high volume in ES and SPY? Honestly, it has nothing to do with numbers for me. I don't care about the numbers. It's all about relativity. That's OM's theory of relativity. What is it relative to the current week and current month? Like yesterday, for example, was one of the lowest volume days we've had in a long time on a green day. Today, so far, we're just kind of drilling up on another low volume so far. Can you expand on your PDS plan for today? Yeah, so the one thing I'm guaranteed I'm going to do is close out the short puts. The short puts are almost 100% degraded. They're like 90% degraded, so they offer no more protection. They've done their job. They protected me on this bullish move up into 42.20. The crazy thing is that we're only like 9 points higher than where I took the dang things. But because of theta, obviously, the long puts have gotten hit bad. So what I'm going to do is cover the short puts because they offer no more value to me, and get the long puts to come all the way back down. So that right there ate up half of my losses. And then now that I've closed out the short put and I've only got the long put left, which is now just a long put, not a PDS. Now I have options. I could use that, which is still paying $4. I could use that to now pop into a credit spread if FOMC is in fact bullish, or just close the thing out altogether and start just playing heavy long into the end of the week. So that is the plan. All right, another bottom wick up to 42.27, data in 6 minutes. All right, moving up to R1 here. And kind of here is what I'm feeling out on this thing. Right here. on the daily. Now, this is the daily chart represented on the 5-minute chart. So you have to get, obviously you have to zoom out. What, 4 days, 4 or 5 days there. So that's what we're filling out on declining volume on that thing. So big retail decision yesterday. Yeah, they did. Can you imagine if they filed for bankruptcy? Whew. So I did the update on Bookmap, and now they won't let me turn off the streaming setting, and now all your names are abbreviated still again. Used to be able to turn it off, but now I can't. All I see is the first letter of y'all's names. All right. Dump on jolts, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna hit refresh on this data. We've got expiration filter 11.1. They're piling into 419 in a big way. Now they've got 420 positive, so that should be the upper cap of this move right here. So I'm going to look to short 420 once we get there. They shifted Qs lower to 349. Thanks for the link, makes it easier. Yeah, they did. Look at that. 349. So that'd be another 2-3 points down, 3-4 points down on Qs. What's up, Da? The real mono. How you doing? Slow grind up here, right into the 42.28 area. We have data in 2 minutes. Jolts job openings. So let's see what happens there. Watch for the roll off of liquidity here any minute. We have ISM manufacturing PMI and Jolts job opening. So watch for a move on the bonds and DXY. You're going to see big moves on those two names right there going into this data. And I think what we'll have to do here is pop once into 420, and then I'm going to look to take the rejection off 420. It would be odd for this thing to continue to trend up into FOMC. I'll say that. It hasn't been done. We don't trend on these type of days, so that would definitely be a low probability event. Whether it be up or down, we usually have a reversion back to center into FOMC. Not to mention the top positive GEX level has moved up to 420 here. And those have been working out pretty dang well the past few weeks. Pretty high confidence. $42.23. Small caps are getting hammered. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. If you don't set a stop loss, is your max loss 100% or can it go to 200%? Are you talking about on the PDS? Yeah, the PDS, I could lose all of my debit. Yeah. Just a regular put. No, just whatever your exposure is. So 100%. Can't go beyond that. The only time that you can go beyond 100% loss is if you're in some sort of naked premium, naked option, where there is no defined loss. At which point, if you're doing that, then you don't need to be doing that. The only way you could do short options like that, naked options, is if you have a pretty substantial account to cover the margin. All right, right into 42.30, right there. Wickeroni. Let's take a look at what's going on here. I'm going to look at 42 hundies. 42 hundies right here. Man, premiums are jacked to the gills, brah. Jacked to the gills. Let's see what happens. Top wick right there. Only naked I used to do is sell puts. All right, we have a top wick right here on NASDAQ and ES. You see them take off all the liquidity. They still have this 414 right here. They put on 42.40 after wiping 30 and 10. NASDAQ has this stuff here at 14.541. Big old top wick there. That went up to 42.34 and come down. Yeah, so all of that should result in a big green move on DXY. At least as per the definition. But it is coming off red at the moment. Big volume out of the market too. Yeah, but DXY is going down. Yeah, it's bottom wicking, but we'll see how that goes. ES is still top wicking there down, not moving. So overall, not really that much movement here. Bonds are rocketing up to 85 still. VIX is coming down. And I'm going to hit refresh again now that we hit top of the hour. $11.1, 420, nothing's changed. All right. So they absorb 42.30 going up to 42.40. CVD has gone from pretty red to very green, 6,000 green, and so far no movement. Whoa, why did he say whoa? TLT. Let's see. I'm just going to look at this data real quick. At 40 points from top to bottom there. All right, Joel's job openings came in 9.5 mil. So they beat by about 0.3, about 300,000. Manufacturing prices went up and PMI went down. Crude oil reports in 26 minutes. So if you're a CL trader, here's your jam. For real, for real. Still top wicking overall, not that big of a move considering the data. NASDAQ is top wicking, ES is top wicking as well, coming on down. $4,200s right now are going for what about $12 at the moment here. IV is 37% and climbing from this morning. It's up about 2% from the morning. All right. Still no movement. So the flip to PDS to a PCS, you have to add a short leg closer to the strike. Yes, so the theme there is that you have to short a higher delta product than your long put to make it a PCS, which is closer to the money. So that's what I'll be looking to do in the event that we have a bullish response to FOMC. Now, regardless, I am going to, like I said, I'm going to close out the short put regardless. and just leave the long put on. They're pretty much to the period where they're, in fact, I'm going to go and do that now. They're pretty much completely degraded. You're welcome. A little bit of red. How are you able to tell they're completely degraded? I look at the premiums. The premiums are like $1. So they've served their purpose, is to offset any losses. So yeah, that's correct. But if we continue to go higher, I'm not worried about those. What I want to do is become more aggressive on shorting contracts. So what I would do is pop into like a 42, or I'm sorry, a 41.30 or something like that if we start to go up. So I'll be a little more aggressive for that. So exactly. I mean, right. The point is that the position has served its purpose, and I need to roll it off the books. Because obviously my theory is that we're gonna go back down Thursday or tomorrow and Friday. So I need to play towards that until I see something that disregards that. All right, hanging out 42.26, still bottom looking. Got a great short off the 420, close a scalp due to uncertainty, waiting for an A+ setup. There you go. Got a second payout with Apex. Nice. Well done. A little bit more red here. Gex just changed to 416. I'm going to hit refresh again. Feels like there are like 4 people trading in the market right now, so slow and flat. Well, it's all waiting for FOMC, man. This is part of it. That's why we plan on cutting the stream short in the morning and coming back on for the afternoon, because we know it's going to happen. A little bit more red. A little bit more red coming down. Still can't move. Holding 42.20. FOMC usually turns into FOMO for me. Yeah, I play things super careful on these events because on one hand you can make a crap ton of money, but on one hand you could lose a lot of money in about 3 seconds if you're not properly positioned in obviously correct. So I get very excited about these events because I love volatility, but at the same time I respect them too much to be too crazy with them. So I set a certain dollar amount beforehand that I am willing to trade, and I do not extend that dollar amount. I was like, this is what I'm willing to risk. Will your afternoon stream be public? Probably for FOMC, yeah. I finally switched over to IBKR when executing futures trades. Do you just hit the bid and ask, then submit, or execute, or is there a way to have the limit track they ask? What I do is I have my order entry. So I'll literally click the ask and hit enter. I've got my limit. I've got it set to limit order, not market, obviously. I'll click the ask, hit enter, and I'm good. And now if I'm like chasing a quick movement, then you might have to go in and manually adjust, or maybe even do a market order. But that's only if I really want to get in a position. Is it still showing large negative delta for Friday? Let me double check, but as of about 20 minutes ago, it was, yes. It's substantially positive deltas, with very little negative delta overall ever, or anywhere, I should say. The pull is down into 400 into Friday. That's the crazy thing. 42.10, 42.50, 42.40. I got a quick 4% scalp short. I closed on that hammer because I didn't like the liquidity. Nice. I love IBKR, so easy to use. Absolutely. It is. Customizable. That's the best thing about it for me. It's like the J.G. Wentworth of brokers. Or the Burger King. The Burger King of brokers. Have it your way. It's 7.7 cash now. I'm stoked on the cheap commission, but it take a while to get used to it. Yeah, you'll get used to it faster than you think. Oh man. 42.26, no movement. Former Air Force myself, stationed at the Boneyard working in A10s. Kind of missing. I was like, oh, very cool. I've never met anyone who was stationed at the Boneyard. Very cool. Do you use the chart in IBKR only? I only execute in IBKR. I do no analysis in IBKR. Man, no movement. Yeah, I've always thought of that guy. It's crazy. All right. So definitely there's no buyers here. TLT is on a freaking rampage. Just going to 85 and beyond here. Still unable to break out of the 85, but they're making a move for it. They've been bouncing between 84 and or upper 85 and lower 83 for about a week and a half now. And they're making a quick trip right on back up to the top of that range. VIX is still rolling off. Still rolling off. They are doing no positioning for FOMC. At least one that's not already on there. Uh, 1400 Eastern is the data, and 1430 is the presser. Ooh. I just watched a video on Twitter about some chick who's got student loans for the past 12 years. And she had $80,000 in loans. She took out $80,000 in student loans 12 years ago. And then she just checked her balance for the first time ever after paying every month. She's paid in $120,000 total. And she still owes $76,000. I just wouldn't pay. I'd be like, all right, take it. America, yeah. I'll be around 1,300. Crazy stuff. What's your strategy for spreads? How far out with? What do you look for in taking them? Talk about credit or debit? Hot take, maybe. Yeah. Credit spreads. My normal credit spread activity is weeklies. That's the most common thing that I do. So I'll take them 4 to 5 days out, and I'm placing them anywhere where I can get anywhere between $2 to $3.50 in credit. As long as I can secure that, most of the time it's between 20 and 30 point width. So that's my game plan. That puts me in a good ballpark in the striking distance to get these things to expire at least 75% worthless. So your take profit is 75%. That's where I typically like to get out. Now, it all depends on how it goes about doing it. If I take a credit spread and, like, for example, let's say I open one Monday morning, but we get a super trendy day and I immediately grab like 60%, like very quick, I'll go ahead and close it out of principal. Just lock the thing up, 60% that quick, is you can't beat that, and I'll reposition. Bought my first house in 08, 0 down, 5%. Yeah, ARM was paying interest only for the first 10 years. Do they understand what they'll be paying back when they apply for the loan? I just don't understand them. Well, that's the people paying the minimum payment. That's the problem. I mean, that's with any loan. I mean, as aggressive as student loans are with interest and stuff, but that's with any loan. If you pay the minimum payment. So, did I close the short puts in the PDS yet? Nope. I'll post in the trades channel. Yeah, I promise. When I take a position like that, I will post in the trades channel and notify everybody. The scalps are the only thing that I don't post in the trade channel. Just the thought of paying for college is crazy. Why is there an interest? Yep. All right. NASDAQ is up, obviously. We've climbed 170 points in 2 hours and still going. There's not really any selling here. ES is up to 42.30, still climbing up here. It's the highest price we've been since last Wednesday. I paid for 10 years. Balance barely went down. Student loans are a scam. If it was for day trading, I'd probably still be paying. I paid 120 at the end of her 60K loan. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. What's your thoughts on the spread for doing it on PDS, PCS on SPY? I'm all about it. If you want to collect a little bit on the PCS for SPY, absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. Make sure that you understand the on a credit spread. Make sure you know your defined losses, though. Make sure you know your max loss. Make sure you know how to manage. Credit spreads are one of the things that I would absolutely make sure that you paper trade it first to understand what happens when you're wrong, because it's not fun. In fact, what I would do is open up is paper trade a credit spread with your intent for it to lose. Like, take one that's stupid for it to lose just to see what happens and see how bad things can get. All right, new high of the day. ES is still going higher. 42.35. No selling here. Looks like 4250 is on deck, 4240. They're blowing through the major GEX levels here, so I don't know where this thing's going to stop today. It's still going. It's been going for 2.5 hours now. They've blown through 419. They've blown through 420. They've blown through major pivots. This is probably the strongest trend I've seen on any of the FOMCs ever. So I don't really know where they're going to go with this. Maybe 422. So crazy stuff. They're killing the VIX all the way back off. Like very, very weird price action for FOMC day. The VIX is down to now 17. Volatility is rolling off. Yeah, it's got that's the only thing I can come up with is that the fact they're blowing out the calls here to bring the market back to neutral. They have to mean reversion into FOMC after such an aggressive sell-off yet late last week. They're mean reverting it into FOMC to bring it back to flat, which makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. I don't do credit spreads on Fed days. Yep, I would. That's an absolute truth. No credit spreads on FOMC day. This is where you see all this get taken out in 2 candles. Yep. Yeah, I don't see any GEX at 423. That's what I'm looking at it now. I don't see anything at 423. I'll see a little bit, very little at 423, not much though. Well, I guess I should take a call here, huh? 4240, 4250, still going. Expect this to end of the day at the aggregate flip 415. That'd be a nice move. $423, what does that mean? I mean, you said it. I mean, I don't know. There's not much at 423 at all, so I'm not looking at 423. SPY still up to 421. Let's take a look at tomorrow, the 2nd. Expiration filter. 4. Still going. Blowing off the top now. ES is up to 42.41. That's 60 points from pre-market lows. 50 points from pre-market lows. NASDAQ is up to 14.6. That is 120 point or 220 points on NASDAQ. So now I'm closing out the short puts. Now they broke 420, they moved the GEX back to 420. Now we're exploding at the top, 42.42. So crazy stuff. All the way up. Traded ticks market dashboard. Yeah, I don't understand where they're getting that because there's nothing at 423 that I see. I don't know where they're getting that. And that's from their own tools. I don't know. All right, 4.2. There it is. Okay. There we go here. Man, what a move. Still going too. What do you make of the daily chart? Very bearish. Now today broke through the top end of the bear, the ascending channel, but it's all really about the volume. You know, up until this morning, it was looking like an easy short. Obviously now they blasted right through this thing and they keep on going here. So with FOMC, that's one of the reasons why I didn't double down on short positions yesterday, is because we're dealing with FOMC today and a lot of wonky stuff happens. But yeah, it was a nice VPA setup for downside after yesterday. What's up, Pastor? How you doing? So, so I tracked the previous lows of days, and it blew through October 4th, 3rd, 24th, 10th, and 5, and low of day. Yeah, it blew through all my main pivots. It blew through everything. It's just like it's very weird. It's blowing through all major pivots and just absolutely rocketing. The 2-hour chart is exceptionally bullish, and now we hit the next main pivot, and it's going right through that too. All on the lowest 2-hour volume candle we've had in since October 9th. So that it's an incredibly low volume, and they're rolling off the volatility very aggressively. In fact, the VIX is almost into the 16s now. They're killing the VIX. This is down like 25% in 3 days, and bonds are rocketing. So it's very weird action into FOMC. Would VPA say it's BS? Well, up until this morning, I mean, it was looking like it would be a nice rejection. Obviously, they blew right through that trend, and it's still going. So at this point, like literally, with FOMC, I don't know where they're going to go with this because this is a mean reversion right out here. They're undoing all of last week's bearishness to reintroduce into FOMC. So, well, that's what we're getting now, Legend. That's exactly what we're getting now. Is with VIX getting crushed like this, volatility is getting crushed, is that they're buying this thing back all the way up. And if they do kill the VIX after, then yes, that's what we'll have is a bit of a Vanna on our hands with this much positioning. But here's the problem with that, is that with them killing VIX all the way back over this much, there's not going to be much Vanna juice left in the tank going into post FOMC. That's the problem for the argument for Vanna, is that they've already killed volatility like 25% in the past 3 days. Now, obviously, they could bring VIX down into 13, 12, but now we're talking about, we're back down to 52-week lows on the VIX, which I don't think is going to happen. Let's see. The Russell and ad for the New York Stock Exchange pretty good indications not to trust the ES levels of potential support. This morning's RTY and ad comment said it's all take weeks since we filled a hole there. Interesting. Oh, man. Well, that's why when you talk through this stuff, it makes a lot more sense. It's easy to get frustrated looking at the stuff as you don't understand it because, it's like, I don't know where this is going. But if you go back and look, especially like last week, we've had so much directionality into this week, a lot of selling. And obviously the bulls have to step in, the buyers have to step in because the trend doesn't go forever, just like bears or bulls, doesn't matter. So this right now what they're doing is they've already killed the calls. Now they're killing the puts into FOMC. That's exactly what they're doing here. VIX is rolling all the way off, depositioning, and then once FOMC posts, obviously we'll see what the real move is. And if it does go higher, then so be it. Then we'll play that on the upside. But here's the deal: if they do have upward pressure into Friday, you're going to see a flurry of volatility into Friday as they reposition this options chain. Because right now it's heavily positioned for negativity into Friday. They killed the VIX. Who? George Soros. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. When I say they, it's just players. The dealers. They of all the positionings. Bezos, yeah. Bezos' wife's apparently. That's the problem. I need some music. I need some Huey Lewis or something like that. 42.43 still going. Guess I should take a trade, huh? I tell you what, man, I went from having the third best week of the year last week to struggling this week, dude. Can't make nothing happen. Can't make nothing happen. Even though I saw this bullishness coming, can't make nothing happen. Can someone tell me, was it FOMC? FOMC is 2 o'clock is when they post the data, and 2:30 is the presser. Can you offer any perspective on UNG? UNG is 100% geopolitically activated. So there's not much price action analysis to be done on natural gas. If you notice, I mean, they've pretty much been chopping in accumulation for, what, a year now? It's literally all on Russia, geopolitical. So at any point, that thing can absolutely rocket to the moon on any kind of headline. So which is why they call it the Widowmaker. So who knows? Who knows when and where that thing is going to break out. It's been there for so long after a pretty gigantic sell-off. So who knows? Obviously I think long term it is going to go up. It just, who knows when. That's one of those things where, that's why commodity traders, you need to have like alligator skin to be a commodities trader or a energy trader like that. Because the price action is activated by any headline, any data point headline, boom, gone. So if you can learn to read, that's why like the best energy commodity traders, they don't read price action, they read the globe. Dude that trades oil, they're meteorologists, like they know how to read the weather, that kind of crap. Inflation, government debt, two wars. What's to make the market go up? Well, that's why again I encourage you all not to think about the news events and think about liquidity. The market, one, we know the market can't go straight down or straight up. It's not going to it's not going to go up every single day. It's not going to go down every single day. The whole purpose of news is strictly to fluctuate liquidity, to remove or add liquidity, period. That's it. That's all it is. Algorithms programmed to grab or induce the grabbing of liquidity. That's why we can either be the cows that get sent off to the slaughterhouse, or we could be the farmers. That's it. Because if you try to make sense of the news, I mean, if you want to take in everything that we're dealing with right now, the SPX should be under 1,000. Like the valuation is so high, like we should be under 1,000, but obviously that's never going to happen. So it's all about liquidity. So you can't think about in terms of that. And that's what hurt so many people in Russia, because a lot of new traders had never dealt with global war before while trading, and they're thinking, all right, well, Russia's about to nuke Ukraine, we should be way lower, and they kept getting destroyed, and the market kept going up and up and up and up and up. It's all about liquidity. Posted a good tweet on that, Monday? Tuesday? Not to mention, yeah, there's another one. Today's the start of the new month. Yesterday was closeout. Today's the start of the new month. So a lot of probably a little repositional buying with portfolios and 401ks and whatnot. Just so happens to be on a day with a lot of volatility and a lot of catalyst events. And they've killed the VIX 20% before FOMC. Is YouTube done for the day? No, it's on. We're on there. According to stats, Game 1 of the World Series this year was the least watched game ever in history. If I had to guess, people don't care about sports when they're paying $4,000 to rent a one-bedroom apartment. All right, so this one's buying up. Looks like it's going to go higher, 42.44. They're going to try to grab that 42.50. New high of the day, still going, 42.44. Still no positions for me. New high of the day. Yeah, this World Series has been awesome. It's been a lot of good action. World Series, you need to get Taylor Swift to attend. Yeah. Some people think hockey's still a major sport. Hey, hockey's pretty amazing. I do love me some hockey. Hockey's one of those sports where I forget about it until I go see a game. I'm like, why am I not a devout fan of hockey? Like, this is incredibly enjoyable. Well, no, duh, Dan. You're in Canada. Love it. As a Minnesota fan, a Minnesotian, better not talk bad about hockey. Somebody asked me a question about Bookmap. Let me go see that. Speaking of liquidity, I have a question. Let's say that on the book there's a 55% chance of buyers and sellers. Which direction would you expect the price to move? I'm not familiar with that data point. Does the market try to fulfill those buyers, or do those buyers push higher price? See, I don't use Bookmap like that. If there is a metric like that, I personally don't use that. I look for activity. I'm a very purist. I'm an order purist when it comes to Bookmap. I literally want to look at. That's why I don't really use a lot of indicators, except for the stuff that's immediately behind the scenes that I don't necessarily know about, which is like the icebergs and stops. I want to know where the order flow is. All the other stuff that it offers, all the other add-ons, that's icing on the cake. But to me, the essential tool of Bookmap is Bookmap itself, and that's looking at the order flow in the market, where the big orders are stacked. Top wick. Man, everything is absolutely launching too. I'm looking at my charts here. Like Microsoft exponential, Amazon exponential, Apple exponential, VIX is rolling off, bonds are going exponential, XLF exponential, like everything just launched. It's crazy. Nice trading view name. Oh, the Jabronis. Yeah, Jabronis. Tesla. Yeah, Tesla's launching the other direction. Tesla's going what, logarithmic? What is that? Straight down? I don't know. What is it? Whatever that is. XRT. Retail got crushed. Yeah. Speaking of hockey, you see that I guess the police came out and said that that dude that kicked that dude in the face, he did nothing wrong. It was just normal procedures. Oh, yeah, it definitely looked on purpose. And that is, I mean, I played. I mean, in terms of hockey, I mean, I'm well versed because I played no years of hockey, but it definitely looked on purpose. I'm gonna call it a morning. We'll be back after lunch. Nice, Damien. Well done. I tried to play hockey in high school, but they wanted $2,000 a season to play, and my dad, considering he didn't even give me lunch money, would not fund my hockey endeavor. All right, 42-43. Jabronis. All right. So still creeping higher. I played hockey for 10 years. That was 100% intentional. Yeah, certainly looked like it. All right, 4250 liquidity is higher. Nasdaq they're putting on 14525, 14675 right here. All right, new high of the day, 4246, still going. Now we're coming up on 3 hours straight of buying. The strongest trend, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows of another trend into FOMC, please let me know. But this, from my memory, looks like the strongest trend we've experienced into an FOMC before. As a broke single dad, did it benefit you long run that your dad didn't give you lunch money? Yes. I was 100% independent, well, 95% independent by the time I was 14. The day I got a job at McDonald's when I was 14 was the day I started buying all my own stuff. Doing my own laundry, all that kind of stuff. Made me who I am today. 42.46, still going higher. Is this short covering? I don't think this is short covering. I think this is just a mean reversion trade. This is mean reverting. This is option chain activity, killing all the puts that were put on last week. That's my take on it. Now that it's slow, do you mind talking about real estate? How can someone know when it's okay to buy a house? I'm currently shopping to buy my first home, but you mentioned right now is not the best time. You know, it's very disheartening to me, this real estate market is. I'm a big, 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 big believer of real estate, more so than the stock market. Like, even though I run this OM community, it should be like real estate millionaire. Like, that's what I would prefer. That's my pure interest. So it pains me to see the nature of this real estate market because it's virtually impossible to get into real estate investing now unless you find a heck of a deal that's like destroyed and you need to fix it up. So I'm not buying anything else on myself, and I've tried looking for deals out there, but there's just nothing. There's nothing. You go search on Zillow for like sub $300,000 homes, not a single one. Not a single one. God, this thing is still freaking going. Unreal. Do I ever buy tax liens and deeds? No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't like buying up someone else's misfortune. You know, some little old lady you can't pay her taxes and they take it. Like I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't want that on my conscience. The only thing, I've had this conversation because I'm actually considering doing something like this. The only thing I've already done cannot be helped, or the only thing I'd want to do is approach someone who's in the end stages of life, like an old lady, which this is the exact situation. So here's the exact situation I'm in now. I'll go and explain it to you. Our neighboring farm is an 87-year-old woman. She lives by herself. She has no family. She has no husband. And she's on very, very restricted means. So what I would want to do is approach her and say, hey, can I pay you every month for the rest of your life, no matter if you live another 15 years, and then when it's your time to pass, then I take over the deed of the property. And then, of course, if there's not enough value built in, say she dies next year, then we could figure out an amount to pay whoever your estate is, like a life estate, exactly, a life estate. So that's what I would do. Keep her in her property. It's her property. She could do whatever she wants with it. She could build on it. She could do whatever she wants with it until she passes. Stuff like that. No, because she won't sell that. That's what she wants. Like that's where she lives. But that's my plan. You know, that's what I want to do. I'd fear ghosts. Top wick. My grandfather put together for our other family property by my neighbor's property. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of red coming in. They took off the 14.6 on NASDAQ ES 4250. What prediction regarding price action on Powell Speaks? I know it sounds silly, but if you're looking at the price action only, but the option chain still says pressure into Friday. Still says pressure into Friday. So I'm still going to maintain that. And then if I'm wrong after FOMC, so be it. So be it. I have to play what I see, and that's what I see. Price action supports OM's recent podcast on dealer market behavior prior to major reversals. Unless Powell turns dovish, which is unlikely. Economic hot reset. There you go. Nice, Lowen. Sell pressure into Friday, yes. Yeah. My dad almost lost his business because he wasn't able to pay his taxes. The guy who won the bid came to my dad and offered him a deal to make 2% on his bid. Now my dad owns the business all clear. That's amazing. Yeah. Man, you know, especially being in this world where I've got a couple of rental properties myself, the unfortunate thing about people who are greedy and go after people, they don't understand the power of helping someone. If you help someone out of a dire situation, they will be loyal to you forever. Forever. So like a renter in my case, if I were to help them out in a situation where they need help, and you don't let them take advantage, obviously, because some people will take advantage of that generosity. If you hold them to the fire and help them out, not only is it good for my soul, obviously, but two, they will be loyal to you no matter what if you do that. So if you ever get in the investing world, remember that. My dad and the bidder are good friends now, do business together. There you go. The documented lifespan was 120 years and 64 days. Her longevity attracted media attention. Yeah. I mean, that's certainly a possibility. You could start a new podcast, The Grim Realtor. Yeah, allies are often like, yeah. feel like that should be the norm, not just in property investment world, but big believer in karma. Absolutely. Yeah. The crap you put out in the universe will come back to you. She made a deal like you described. She lived another 35 years. Well, that would be the downside. Just like taking options, man. There's always a downside. That would be the risk to me. That would be my risk, is that she lives another 35 years. And considering that she has very little stress and, eats all organic homegrown food that she grows, and goats and stuff like that. She ain't out there pounding Taco Bell like us. All right. What are we doing here? When I made the money off the apes during the AMC run 2021, I paid off school lunches at 2 elementary schools nearby. That's amazing. That's awesome, Spy Guy. At least you feel good taking care of someone because you become part of the family. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm always out there helping her cows too, because her cows are always getting on my property. So we always go out there and help her wrangle up all the cows. That's the cow neighbor. Yep, the cow neighbor. She's way too old to take care of them cows, but she loves them. When I was 20, I was miserable and literally thought I had no one in life. One colleague gave me a can of good beer on my birthday, and since that day I got some hope and turned my life around. See? All it takes is one little good deed. One good deed. Turn somebody's life around. She's a centurion in the making. Yeah. Yeah. Funny that my mom told me a story when I was a child about a woman in Paris who did a deal to be paid yearly for a home, and she died living to the age of 105. Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing. Even if that were to happen, obviously I would still get the property after she died 30 years from now, and my kids would still have the property in their names. So, I mean, either way, it's a win-win situation. Whatever happened to Lee Rat? Lee Rat is about to have his baby. So Lee Rat's about to be Lee Rat Daddy. So he's been focusing on that and obviously getting his career straight, getting a home for him and his new wife and baby. So he's doing great, man. I talked to him actually 2 weeks ago, last week. So, yeah, we need to have like Lee Rat Thursdays where we all ping Lee Rat all at once, every week to kind of keep him in the loop. Like 2,000 pings all at once. So glad to have found this channel on your podcast. Oh, thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Trust me, I had the worst upbringing known to man. I have the most toxic family you'll ever meet. So who I am today is literally written by doing the exact opposite of what my family was. So I appreciate that y'all like the community, enjoy being here. Quick question: do you use expected moves to help identify? No, I don't. I don't really look at expected moves. Does Lee live close to me? No. No, he lives, well, I don't think he wants to know. I don't know. I'm sure y'all know where he lives. All right, I'm concerned that what I have coming is, as I've saying, baby shark and many inoperative turns and started many flash mobs with little people. Yep. Did you already touch on the TRTX earnings drop? Yep. Close out all REITs, my opinion. I think the bloodbath that's coming for the real estate market is going to be pretty destructive, mainly the commercial real estate market. So I've had a great love affair with TRTX for a long time, made a crap ton of money off their dividends, but I think it's time to part ways at least until 24 months from now. I'll reunite with them. Stay golden, pony boy. 42.75 here. I'm not really moving. Kind of just chit-chatting. Didn't he wreck his car or motorcycle? Yeah. Yeah, motorcycle. He wrecked his car. right when we first started, and we set up a GoFundMe to get him a new vehicle. He was able to, I think, raise $3,000 or $4,000 and bought himself a motorcycle. Yeah. What's up, OM? What's up, Richard? How you doing? Goes to show your hard work and some principles of upstanding citizen. All will help in this trade. Yeah, definitely. I love it, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. And then good comments. What are your thoughts on the strangle? I personally would not do it. I think the time for striders are gone. And my straddles are gone. Now, obviously, we could have a big day, and it pays off just well, in my opinion. But straddles are very, very risky because you have to have such a big move along the lines with IV crush. So, in my opinion, I don't think it's a good strategy anymore. Now, if you want to take that risk, by all means. Did I just hear an outsider reference? Yes, you did. Yeah, too high for straddle strangles. Since we have a minute, I just heard the Blue Angels in our area a few weeks ago. Just had the Blue Angels in our area a few weeks ago. In your opinion as a pilot, what's more prestigious, Blue Angels or Top Gun? They're both very awesome. You have to be an incredible pilot to do either one of those. They don't, either one of them, I mean, the qualifications to be either one of those are pretty extraordinary. The difference, in my opinion, of those two, Blue Angels is flying ability. Top Gun is more than that. You have to be more than a good flyer. You have to be a strategician. You have to strategize, and you have to be a weapons person. What people don't realize about Top Gun is that it's more like you don't go there to learn how to fly. You go there to understand weapon systems and weapons deployment and strategy. What's the best angle of attack? How do you work with flights? How do you work with other people? How do you work with Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, that kind of stuff? Well, not Coast Guard because it's combat, but whereas Blue Angels is strictly flying ability. And you have to be able to play volleyball in jeans in order to go to Top Gun. Because apparently you do that. If I took a PDS with me, would you close a short put? Yep. Yeah. Do you have any long-term port recommendations for the next 3+ months? I'm not going to recommend anything for that stuff. I'm not a financial advisor. What I am doing personally is I'm switching my retirement into bonds. I'm transitioning all of my retirement into the bond market. I saw a clip on the Warthog plane, which is a beast. Yep. The A10 is a beast. Any positions? I've got a PDS that I'm about to close the short leg. $42.41. I'll give this a few more minutes and we'll call it a morning and jump back on. Obviously for FOMC, that's the big dog today. Can you talk a little bit more about switching retirement to bonds? Are there specific bonds that'd be best? What I'm going to do is structure my 401k, in my case the TSP, into a vehicle that's going to be compromised or made up of diversified bond products. And that's going to take advantage of the rotation into bonds. Now, doing such thing is not to be taken lightly because there's going to be a lot of volatility going forward. You see the video of those moms just cleaning out someone on Halloween, all their candy? It's absurd. That's why I would have a loaded paintball gun beside the door. Get out of here. See, I'm not always a good person. Rip or dip for FOMC. I don't know. I think the net result of FOMC will be down. I'm hopping off back on for FOMC. Nice juice box. When you say moving to bonds, what's your ultimate goal? Ultimately, the equities are going to have a pretty large drop, and the bonds are going to rocket eventually. Now, I still expect some pressure in the bonds, but that's the overarching goal. Bonds up, equities down. Just watched a video of some parents cleaning out a bowl. Yeah, I'm sure it's the same video I was watching. Yeah, that's all over Twitter right now. Sad. You shoot my 7-year-old with a paintball. I shoot those parents with a paintball gun. Have I ever traded on the 30-minute, 1-hour time frame? Yes, I have. Not scalping, but I have traded on that for longer term trades, yeah. Small welts from close distance. Yeah. My kid has enough candy to last till she's 10. Yeah. Do I have a favorite bond ETF? TLT. That's the one I pretty much track for overall theme.